The test tomorrow is a 33 question summative exam, meaning it covers everything we've learned about all year long, not just the new material we just covered. Hey, Miss Neighbors, could you come fix these? Because I'm going to move this cart and it's going to fall. So we're going to review this information together today. As we go through the questions, like always, if you know the answers, raise your hand. Miss Neighbors will point or call on you. If you get the answer correct, you'll come to her and get your tickets. Is that clear? Yes? All right. So let's look at number 1. It says, basically, what is the complementary strand to that strand of DNA? So we know apples and trees and cars and garage. So what would the complementary strand be? That's T, C, C, A, G, T, C, C, A. And that's our apples and trees and cars and garage. It tells us here it's DNA, so I'm going to use the T's and not the U. If that said RNA, then I'd have uracil, right? The second question, I'm just going to lead because there's so many parts to it, it's almost impossible to break down. This is wanting you to draw DNA and then to label all the parts of DNA. So I'm going to start with my left-hand backbone. I've got my phosphate and a sugar. Phosphate and a sugar. And again. So that is my swimming pool in my house. Now I'm going to jump to the other side of the backbone. And this is important because remember, it flips. I've got my swimming pool and now my house is upside down. Swimming pool. My house is upside down. Swimming pool. House is upside down. All right. So we're going to label these. This here is my phosphate. This here is my sugar. Now specifically, this sugar's name is deoxyribose. Okay? If it was RNA, it would just be ribose. But DNA has deoxyribose sugar in it. Now, if I'm looking at all of this structure and all of that structure, those two things make up what we call our backbone of DNA. There's no genetic information there. That's just the structure, like the skeleton, that holds the genetic information in place. Now, what I have drawn now are where my A's would bond to T's, my T's would bond to A's, my C's would bond to G's. Guys, that is our genetic information. Now, we saw yesterday in our one-pagers, there was a little bit of confusion that the genetic information is actually what we call nitrogenous bases. Those bases, adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, are the genetic information. The only thing that changes from individual to individual is the order in which those bases occur. There is one remaining part to this DNA to hold it together right up the middle. Who remembers? Alex? That is a hydrogen bond. So between each nitrogenous base, it is held together with a hydrogen bond. And that is the entire structure of a DNA molecule. So if you were asked what makes the backbone, it's the phosphate and the sugar. If you were asked what makes the genetic information, you would say nitrogenous bases. Give me a fist of 5 on having this down. Are we good? Okay. Let's move on. We're looking now here at number 3. So here we have a cladogram, and it's wanting to know which family of dragonflies shares the most recent common ancestor with the family Micromylidae and Cordulidae. And we've seen this question before. Cadence, what is it? Yes, Libellulidae. So you can tell that because they're all right here within that same off branch or bracket, okay? Next one is also a cladogram. Look at it real close, and you tell me, are hippos more closely related to cows or javelinas? Xander, your hand was up first?
No.
Yeah, they're most related to cows. Alex, can you explain why? No? Anybody want to give it a chance for a ticket?
I don't know what those lines are.
All right, so look at this bracket here, right? Everyone see it? So I've got hippos here and cows here. Are javelinas even on that same bracket with them? I'd have to go back up another level to that next bracket, right? So they're the most closely related because they share the most close bracket. Is that kind of register for you guys? Okay. Let's go now to number 6. Yes, I mean 5. So salamanders of the genus, that word, in northeastern North America are an entirely female population that reproduce asexually through the process of cloning. However, they have developed a way of inserting DNA from other species of salamanders into their own DNA. And yes, this is real life. How has DNA from other salamander species helped these salamanders survive environmental change over the past 6 million years?
They adapt to the environment.
Yes, there is adaptation to the environment. Anyone want to add anything? Okay, Alex, you can have a ticket for that because that is definitely not wrong. It does help them to adapt. It also allows them to increase genetic diversity. In their population. Remember, the more diverse a population, the higher chance that they're going to have fitness to survive some sort of situation. You want diversity in a population. Number 6, a large population of rock puppet mice with various fur colors lives in a designated area. Soon after a volcanic eruption, the number of mice with dark-colored fur in the population increased. Why? Xander?
Because the one with the darker fur almost like survived.
Yeah. So do you remember the word we use when we talk about an animal's survivability and ability to reproduce?
Fit.
Yes, fitness. So the fitness of the mice with dark fur increased, so they became abundant. Number 7. Green anoles are lizards that can change their skin color rapidly in response to stimuli. This adaptation is the result of, don't overthink it. Yeah. So mutation, survival skills, those are both correct. Let's word it this way. Beneficial traits passed from parent to offspring. Give you a few seconds to get that down. Number 8. This is that one we've seen before, the Texas horned lizard and the bluebonnet. These two DNA sequences provide evidence that... Does anybody remember? Xander, you want to try? Yes, that is the gist of it, right? It may be a different order, but it's still the same genetic code. Let's word it like this. The nucleotides are common to all organisms. The nucleotides are common to all organisms. Number 9. What cellular components are the same in all living things? We may have just said it.
Genetic code.
Say it again.
Genetic code.
Genetic code is correct. What do we call that genetic code? Yes, you're both right. What property is shared by living things? It's kind of the same question. I'm just going to give you this. Cells contain DNA of A, T, C, and G, and those are our nitrogenous bases. And then number 11, certain species of coral-like sea organisms called bryozoans first appeared 140 million years ago. They remain unchanged for the first 40 million years and then suddenly experienced rapid genetic change. What type of evolution is that? Stoli?
Periodically.
Right first letter. Anybody? There are a couple of types of equilibrium evolution we discussed. Xander? You're both so close. So
It is a period. It's a type of what?
it's punctuated.
That's what he said.
I thought he said punctual.
No.
Okay. So punctuated equilibrium is when nothing changed and then bam, all of a sudden there is something. I realize you can't see that at the bottom, so I'll write it right here. It's not with red, I won't. It is punctuated equilibrium.
No. This was the next one.
Okay.
Showing you the operation.
All right, we're going to go now to number 12. Sorry, 13, isn't it?
No, it's 12.
It is.
Bottom of
Oh, I didn't even see that. When multiple transitional fossils are found in many rock layers, they provide evidence of, Alex?
the unchanging environment.
No. Say it again. Xander?
Evolution over time.
Okay. You both have bits and pieces. It is gradual. Hang on. Gradual change over time. Number 13, I'm just going to give you. This is going to be really hard for you to come up with on your own. Farmers spray pesticides on their plants to protect the plants from being eaten by insects. Some individual insects have a genetic mutation that makes them resistant to the toxins in the pesticides. How did only a few resistant individuals result in the pesticides becoming ineffective? So here's the answer. The resistant insects are able to survive to reproduce and create a resistant population. The resistant insects are able to survive to reproduce and then create a resistant population. So basically, they pass that resistant gene to their offspring. The next one's a fill in the blank. Physical adaptations of wolves are related to their hunting abilities. Larger wolves are able to take down larger prey, such as elk. How would an increase in the size of elk affect the body size of wolves after several generations? So we're going to start with the first box. It says the typical body size of individuals in the wolf population would what? Increase. Very good. That was 2 of them. So I'm just going to use an arrow. Y'all write the word increase. After several generations, because the change would what? Next box.
Not change.
It would increase. Yeah. So their bodies got bigger so that they could hunt better, so that they could survive better, so that they could have reproductive fitness. So both of these boxes are increase. We're moving on now to number 15. 14. I am on the struggle bus today. So we've seen this one before. It's the bird with the bugs on the tree, and the tree is light colored. What's going to happen to the number of light color beetles over time? All right, we got 3 hands up. Hands down. We're going to do the fastest to the draw. 1. Go put your hand down, Xander. 2. Go. What do you think, neighbors? Cadence? All right. All right, Cadence. Which one? What's your answer here? Yep. So the light increase in the number of light bugs. We're going to have an increase in the number of the light bugs. Next one is this table. It says a student researches the average number of offspring that 6 species produce during their lifetime and creates the table shown. Based on the data, which of these species most likely experience the highest rate of evolution? Take a minute and just think about it. Who's going to evolve the most and the fastest? Alex?
The fruit fly.
Why?
Because it produces more.
Yes, that is exactly right. So the answer here is the oriental fruit fly, because there is more opportunity for change. The more children you have, the more chances that mutations are going to occur. Oriental fruit fly, because more opportunity for change. The next one says blue flying fish live in the upper layers of the ocean. Blue flying fish have enlarged pectoral fins that enable them to glide for 400 meters above the ocean surface and appear to fly. How does natural selection lead to an enlarged pectoral fin? That is a hard one. Why would a fish want to jump out of the ocean?
To get away from the predator.
Yes, that's it. That's really all it comes down to. So, fish with large fins can glide out of ocean to escape predators. This will increase fitness.
The next one is 17, not 18.
No, so the numbers are below the questions. So we just finished 17. The next one's 18. And it's formatted really strange. All right, the next one says a giant octopus lays 20,000 to 100,000 fertilized eggs. After hatching, most octopuses become prey to larger marine organisms, and less than 5% will reach adulthood to reproduce. One benefit of the giant octopus laying many eggs is to... Xander's hand was up first. Tell me about it.
To make sure the octopus have a larger survival rate.
Yes, exactly. Increase the chance I put change for some reason. Increase the chance that individuals will survive to maintain the population. All right, we're going to skip this next one. I'm going to go into some review about it tomorrow before we take our exam. So skip over it and go on to the one marked number 20. Cross-pollination of flowers from different populations of the same species will most likely result in... So what I'm looking for here is the name of one of the types of evolution. We have a foldable. There's several types. Punctuated equilibrium was one of them. Gene flow. Gene flow. New alleles are introduced. Anytime an organism from a different population that was cut off from before comes into a new one, it's always going to be gene flow. Think migration, okay? Next one. Basically, look at this picture. What's happening here and when in the cell cycle does it happen? Xander?
No, not interface.
It's in interphase, yes.
I said interface.
Oh, yeah, not in phase. That would be mitosis, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. So this is an interphase. What's happening? What's the name of this process? Say it again. No, telophase is in mitosis.
You're on your one pages.
DNA replication.
Yes. DNA replication in interphase.
What phase of interphase does it got G1. What comes next?
G2.
What's in between? S phase of interphase is DNA replication. And then we go into mitosis switch. Splits the cell. Okay.
All right, next picture now. This is mitosis. Who can tell me what's the correct order of those images? Xander?
ZXWY.
ZXWY. What part of the cell cycle did y'all say replication happened in? S phase. ZXWY are the correct steps, and that's your prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, okay? Next image here is this cell. Which phase of the cell cycle is that in? Maya?
Anaphase?
Yeah, that's anaphase. Here we have some chromosomes, and I want you to look at them and tell me which of these, when you're looking at the before and after, shows an insertion mutation.
Would that be D?
Yes, you are correct. It is D. Neighbors, I've got to go post attendance, which is going to mess this up. So, let me pause. All right, so we're going to pick up now with number 25. No, we're not. Yes, we are. I confused myself. Yes, we are. 25 is asking basically for you to create a Punnett square because you can't answer this question without it, okay? It says you have an organism whose parents were, one was homozygous dominant, so that's 2 capitals. The other was homozygous recessive, that's 2 lowercase. And it wants to know what percentage of the offspring would have the recessive trait, okay? So in order to have the trait, that organism would have to be homozygous recessive. So 2 little a's. So let's do our Punnett square. What percentage of these are 2 little a's? None. So the answer here is 0% of those organisms would be homozygous recessive. Next one, we have to look at this diagram and which characteristics are shared by the red-winged blackbird, which is right here, and the hairy woodpecker, which is right here. So the way to do this is to go back up and find what they have in common. What is it, Alex?
They don't have crest and they don't have short beak.
Perfect. Does not have crest. Does not have short beak. And we are getting so close to being done, y'all. This is where we are now, number 27. We've got this cladogram. 6 kingdoms of life are here. Based on the cladogram, which 2 kingdoms contain organisms with chloroplasts? Alex. Protista and what?
Beta.
Look again. You got one of them right. Say it louder. Plantae. Protista and plantae. Because if you look here, they lost chloroplast here. They got chloroplast here. The only two things between that are protists and plants. Number 28, we've got a dichotomous key. And it wants to know which mollusk moves by jet propulsion and does not have an external shell. Look at it real quick, see if you can figure it out.
Squid.
Squid. We had two that answered at the same time. And then we're on our last page, y'all. There's actually 33 questions on the test. One is on the test, but not on the review. All right. Here is a taxonomic classification of 4 species. Based on the information provided, which 2 species are most closely related? Oh, that was close. Alex was first? Okay.
Northern leopard frog and bullfrog.
Yep. Northern leopard, frog, and bullfrog. Number 30. A student sees a red wolf at the zoo and wants to research specific information about it. Which levels of taxonomy are best to use when researching specific information about the red wolf? Basically, what 2 levels of organization are used in naming an animal? Cadence that time? Yes. Genus and species. 31. Why is it important to assign an organism a scientific name? Stoley?
You can't have them all like being called like in a wolf species. You can't just call them all wolf because like there's different. Canis lupus is gray wolf. They're bigger.
Absolutely. And there's another, like, I'm from Northeast Texas. Where I grew up, we call certain plants by certain names that nobody else in the world uses. So you have those regional naming systems that don't work worldwide. And people have to have a way to communicate about organisms. So we needed a standardized way to name these things so everybody knows what everybody else is talking about, okay? So each scientific name applies to one species, making it universally identifiable. Last one. A team of students encounters an unknown organism in a field while conducting a biodiversity study. Some students think the organism is a plant, while others think it is a fungus. Which question should the students investigate to classify the organism correctly? You were closer, neighbors. Which one was faster?
Xander was up and down, so Xander, do you know?
Oh no. Does it what's it called? Make its own food?
Yeah, exactly. Does the organism perform photosynthesis? All right, if you got tickets today, be sure you get your names on those and those put into the bucket. We've got about 5 minutes until the bell. I want you partnering up with someone and quizzing each other over this review until it is time to go. You are welcome to put away journals and straighten at any point.
I told you to hold on until then.